Now, brought to you by Dry Oat Germ, the oat germ that leaves you salivating for more, the Fearless Ranger. When we left off last week, the Ranger was riding into town with a corpse in tow. Whoa.
Fearless Ranger, don't you know you're not allowed back here? You killed 17 people last week.
I was administering justice.
Did you have to kill women and children?
Sometimes casualties get in the way of justice.
Did you have to sleep with my wife?
Well, that was for fun.
Now I see you dragging a body behind you. Who'd you kill now? What did he ever do,
I found this stiff and recently deceased pass.
Third one this week. That's a lot of dead bodies, Ranger, and you're trying to tell me it weren't you?
You know I ain't never touched no bow and arrow since my parents died in a frick bow accident.
Did they fall on their own arrows?
Nah, they was strangled on the bowstring.
Shoot, Ranger, we may need your expertise. Looks like there's a killer on the loose. I'll call a town meeting. Come on now, chillims. My honey chilies, calm down.
Them's Indian arrows.
We should go out and find them all.
Who done spilled beans on my chaps?
It was them Indians. I seen it, I provisioned it, but they was invisible. Unbeknownst to the dim-witted denizens of dry Deadwood Gulch, they were finding themselves enmeshed in the machinations of none other than Professor Codswabble, the most intensely evil intellect west of the Mississippi, miles away in his foul den.
If my predilections are correct, and they always are, my precarious ploy should be put into perpetuation. Gideon, you're back. You are watching from the hills as I commanded, What of the body I instructed you to watch?
Some man took it away.
Where did he take it?
That way.
Which way, Gideon? East or west?
That one. Back to town.
Never mind, Gideon. What did the man look like?
He rode a pure white horse.
Such a purebred Persian could only belong to one man, the Fearless Ranger. When he gets here, he'll have quite a surprise. And then, if my plan carries out as intended, and they always do, the bumbling buffoons will exterminate the natives for me. And I will be able to swoop in and purchase their land for an absurdly cheap price. Pennies an acre, Gideon, all of it rich with silver, unbeknownst to the dupes.
Yo, show 'em all, boss. Meanwhile, in the town of Deadwood Dry Gulch, a suspicious ranger does some detective work over the now trampled body rotting in the center of town.
I guess this is as good a place as any to begin my search. Let's see. Excuse me, mister, you probably won't be missing whatever's in your hand right there.
He finds the dead dunce's decomposed digits clutching a note.
Dear Gideon, note to self. Remember to kill this prospector. Love, Gideon and Professor Codswabble. P.S. Don't forget to throw this note out.
Come on, Ranger, the policy's almost ready to flush them engines out.
Sheriff, I think you might want to take a look at this here note I found.
I ain't got no time to read. In fact, I never had no time to learn how to read. I got a people to protect, if you'll excuse me.
Well then, it looks like I'm on my own. Come on, Tonto. That's what I named my horse. To the scene of the crime.
Meanwhile, back in the den of the deadly dastard.
All right, Gideon. Here's the rifle. You know what to do, don't you?
Hang on, I dropped my note.
Read it to me.
Kill the Fearless Ranger.
What are you going to kill him with?
This rifle.
Where are you going to do it from?
The, Overlook.
Good lad, Gideon. Here's the bullets. Now be off with you, you blundering baboon.
Little does our paragon of a protagonist, our antithesis to the antagonist, know he's riding into a tricky trap.
It doesn't surprise me that Professor Codswabble is up to no good. But what could the professor possibly stand to gain by framing up the Indians? Besides, the professor usually likes to take credit for his dastardly deeds. Take 5, Tonto. I've got to check for clues.
Unbeknownst to our hero, the simpering sycophant's fingers tighten around the trigger of a rifle aimed at his head. He takes aim and whispers, "You're finished, Ranger!" But the Fearless Ranger, sensing trouble, is too quick for the dim-witted assassin. However, his horse Tonto is not so lucky. Tonto rears up and is shot, a final sacrifice for his master.
You're in for it now, Gideon. Your days of villainy are over.
Suddenly, the lackey takes a bullet and tumbles to the ground.
No man can withstand the swift bullet of justice. Now to take care of that pesky professor once and for all.
The hero braves the baffling bastion of the cliff that housed the hideous fiend. Without missing a step, he creeps upward.
Looks as though that buffoon Gideon was done in. I expected as much. Now time to ready my trap. A quick run through. First, the ranger shall trip the wire, releasing the counterweight, sending the boulders down onto the inclined plane, in turn lifting up the lever and activating my coal-driven piston engine. The vibrations will knock a purposefully loosened stalactite that will drop onto my collection of fine china. Distraught over the shattered wealth, he'll look over in dismay, and that's when I'll shoot him!
Our hero comes to the entrance of the Sneedly Scholar's lair and prepares to enter. He draws his trusty gun and ventures forth bravely.
The jig is up, you third-rate cattle rustler. I deduced your plan to rob the Indians blind during my climb. Come out and face me like a man.
Figured me out, have you, you self-righteous cowboy? Well, unfortunately for you, I have one more trick up my sleeve.
But unfortunately for the pernicious professor, even the best laid plans of man and machine can go horribly awry. His death trap malfunctions, and in moments the entire cavern is enveloped in smoke. The cowardly professor, seeing a chance at escape, bolts through a side exit in the cave.
Stop! I've got your beautiful bride to be strapped to the train tracks down there!
Joke's on you, bub. The riders forgot to write in a love interest.
Huh?
The ranger, his sultry silhouette shadowed by shafts of sunlight, pauses to ponder for a moment.
I hope that tasted sweet, Codswabble, because you just got your just dessert.
Tune in next week for more adventures of the Fearless Ranger.